within the Moorish Quran. What is it? 11 of the 48 chapters are dealing with Egypt and India. So here you have an organization where Jesus is talked about as having studied in Egypt and been to Egypt. This is something that is also part of Gnostic tradition. And the Gnostic, which is Greek for knowledge, and this idea that there was special knowledge that could be provided by someone like a Jesus in order to help humanity to spiritually evolve, right? That's the basis, essentially, of most Gnostic traditions. This idea that reincarnation, which is also part of ancient Kemetic belief, and in fact is part of most African traditional belief systems, as well as Asian, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Taoism. It's also part of Native American traditions, right? So, and even there are European traditions that also believed in reincarnation prior to the coming of a very edited version of Christ's teachings, I would add. So this organization, the Moorish Science Temple, represents a place with literature that is not just telling you, for example, about mainstream Christian understanding. It's telling you about Jesus during that missing 18 years, right? Moorish science is talking about what was Jesus doing in that gap that exists in the Bible, right? So the Bible has Jesus pretty much his birth, talks about him up to the age of 12, and then all of a sudden he's 30 and he's preaching. What was he doing in that 18-year time period, right? There's actually a documentary that came out about 8 years ago by a European-American fella. I think his last name is David. It might be Paul David. But it's called Jesus in India. And he's from Texas. He's from Texas, from I think he said a traditional Baptist background. And he said he was always taught, this was it, how to interpret Jesus was only within the context of a particular Baptist understanding or the mainstream Protestant understanding. And he would pose the question to his pastor or to the deacons, elders, and so forth in the church and in other churches, what's with this 18-year gap? And inevitably, they all said, it's not important. Just, we don't know, and it's not important. When in fact, we do know. Meaning, there are sources which have talked about Jesus during that 18-year gap. Those sources are in India. Those sources were in Egypt. Those sources were in Palestine, right? So when we hear that the prophet talked about loosening the keys and the secrets that were held back by the Muslims in those 3 locations, it's no accident, right? That now this information is coming out.